You're listening to a story on the VILLAINESS channel. The following content is entirely fictional and a product of imagination and created for entertainment purposes only. Enjoy the story. I have a special ability from the moment I was born, rare, you could even call it. A mutant. I can lie still for 16 hours a day without feeling bored. Not hungry, not thirsty, no need for social interaction. The entire animal kingdom is powerless against my species. Yup, I am a sloth, a true sloth of nature. I've been sloth since birth. My mother was sloth too. I thought my life would just drift on like that until one day. Because I ate too many leaves and our digestive ability is extremely slow, our sloth species can take up to 30 days to digest a single leaf. I accidentally ate 2 leaves and, as a result, I choked and died. That's right, I died from choking onto leaves. No time to react, no one to save me, no one even knew I died. Exactly the way I lived, lazy to my very last breath. But then the heavens refused to let me go. I opened my eyes and found myself lying on a luxurious bed, surrounded by lace curtains, chandeliers, servants, and a body that wasn't mine. In my head, a system voice echoed. It said that I had transmigrated. And according to it, my fate was so cursed that I, a sloth, got transmigrated into the evil supporting female character in some dumbass romance novel. I'm not the female lead. I'm not the funny bestie of the female lead. I'm not even the powerful mother-in-law of the male lead. I'm the Psychomia, the woman who sugar babies the male lead William, bullies the female lead Leova. I'm also the kind of person who can argue in rap battle mode all night long with William's mom, and constantly goes 1v1 fistfighting with the 4 love-crazed male side characters who are all willing to do anything for Leova. A true social bomb, a walking embodiment of toxicity. A character that the entire fandom unanimously voted to log out of the story ASAP, and me, from being Mother Nature's sloth, now suddenly became the center of all drama. I didn't want to get up, I just lay there on the bed, eyes blankly staring at the ceiling, muttering, "What the hell kind of story did y'all write?" I died and still can't get any peace. The maid next to me saw that I wasn't cussing anyone out or throwing a fit and got flustered. "Miss, aren't you going to hit someone?" I closed my eyes, let out a long sigh. What for? Too much effort. I'm hungry, and that was my first morning living in the body of some rich lunatic who liked playing extreme sports. According to the original plot of the novel, Mia is a young CEO, gorgeous, rich, and absolutely evil. She runs a major corporation, wears all black, rocks red lipstick, slams desks, and yells at people like she's in a multiplayer online game. She's in love with the male lead William, is sweet, hardworking, handsome, but poor boy. She sugar babies him and forces him to repay her in ways I'd rather not mention. I remember there was this scene where she slammed the table and yelled at the female lead Leova, "You think someone like you deserves his love? Get lost!" Then immediately turned to scream fight with William's mom for 2 full days and 1 night. As for the 4 male supporting characters in this story, a gentle doctor, a cold-hearted CEO, an artsy photographer, and a sharp-tongued lawyer, each of them once went 1v1 in physical combat with Mia just to protect Leova, and every time she beat them till sunrise. And me? After reading through all of Mia's memories, all I wanted was to go back to sleep. Because it was exhausting as hell. I decided I'm not doing anything. I'll be so lazy that the storyline will have to adjust itself because it can't deal with me. The next morning, my assistant knocked on my door to invite me to a shareholders meeting. I didn't go. I sent exactly 3 words, "I'm still sleepy," and then I literally slept like the dead for the entire day. In the afternoon, the male lead's mother called, demanding a meeting to educate her future daughter-in-law. I sent her a pre-recorded video from my assistant. "Sorry, I'm meditating to transform my inner self." Days later, according to the original story, I was supposed to attend a birthday party for some big-shot chairman who lived simply and loved the color pink. This was also the place where I humiliated Leova in the original plot. I slapped her in front of all the guests, and William got mad and stormed out. That evening, I dressed up glamorously. But not because I wanted to. it was because my assistant forced me. And I went there in a state of complete dumbfoundedness. From the outside, you could already hear the party hall buzzing with noise and laughter. People were chatting, and businesses from all sectors were mingling enthusiastically. But the moment I stepped into the hall, everything went dead silent. Honestly, I felt totally fine. In the natural world, the animal kingdom is far more vibrant and noisy than the human one, and among the many diverse species exists a sloths. A breed that doesn't give a damn, lives for the present, and dies somewhere in the future. So I didn't care and walked in with my assistant. From afar, Leova instantly turned around to look at me, her eyes full of caution. William, standing beside her, clenched his jaw. And surrounding them were the 4 male side characters, all squinting at me. William's mom already had a wine glass in hand, ready to start yelling the way they were looking at me. It was like they'd prepped all their battle gear and were just waiting for the moment my 2 lips parted so they could launch themselves and kick me through the roof of the ballroom. Being the sudden center of attention like this, I honestly felt kinda shy. I slowly gave a gentle smile, one that, in my opinion, felt completely natural. A very faint smile. Everyone suddenly froze, staring at me, unsure what to do. My eyes quickly scanned the banquet hall, and they lit up like police car lights. I saw a sofa in the corner of the room. And I really needed to sit. Without hesitation, I dashed over and plopped down, eyes locked on the buffet table nearby. I asked my assistant to grab me some random greens, then pulled out my phone and turned on the Taylor Swift and Kanye West duet. For the first few minutes, people still stared at me in confusion, but then no one cared anymore, and the party resumed its lively buzz. But from a far-off corner, the male lead William was still staring at me. His gaze was complicated, like it contained all 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. All 3 traffic light colors and 7 layers of the rainbow. All swirling in those eyes of his. The party went on smoothly. I did my thing, and everyone else did theirs. But halfway through, Leova suddenly walked over to me. While I was watching a top 10 proofs that cows can fly video, my phone was suddenly snatched out of my hand. I looked up, dumbfounded. It was Leova. She held up my phone and smirked at me. She said, "Why did you even come to this party? Weren't you just crying and lying in bed for days after William dumped you?" I slowly looked up at her. Even though I was in a human body now and not a sloth anymore, I still wasn't used to reacting quickly. It took me a while, a really long while, before I finally raised my head to look at her. While I was still trying to figure out what to say, Leova continued, "You don't look so good, do you?" "Well, obviously, William's with me now. Do you have a problem with that? Thinking too much hurt my brain?" After using every cell I had and still coming up empty, I suddenly remembered a line from that cow flying documentary earlier. I tilted my head, looking dumb as ever, stared at Leova for a long time, and finally managed to say a few words. "Yeah, that's fine." Leova looked at me suspiciously, like she couldn't believe what I had just said. Her face quickly twisted into discomfort, but then she suddenly gave me a nasty, smug smile. And then, bam, I froze. Leova, who had just been standing in front of me, was now flat on the ground. She had fallen, face first, just like in the original plot. All eyes immediately turned to me. I genuinely felt embarrassed. Again, the whole banquet hall went dead silent. 1 minute. Then 2 minutes passed. Only then did I finally look down at Leova lying on the floor. She was still there, clearly waiting for someone to help her up, but no one knew what to do. After a few more seconds of stunned silence, the 4 male leads rushed over to us. They took turns glaring at me, scolding me. "Mia, that's way too much. Yeah, how could you treat Leova like that? You never change, do you? Still the same awful temper? What are you just standing there for? Hurry up and apologize to Leova." It took all I had to process, just 1 sentence from one of them, but they just kept going, non-stop, one after the other, and I couldn't keep up. In the end, I didn't catch much, just something about an apology. So I nodded a few times, then slowly got up. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour passed. In the dead silence of the hall, someone finally couldn't hold it in and sighed out loud. Then came a wave of other sighs. One person stepped forward, trying to help me over to Leova and the 4 male leads. But before that person could touch me, a figure flashed past, 6.17 feet tall, broad shoulders, slim waist. He knocked that person's hand away. I turned slowly to look. It was the male lead of this crazy-ass novel, William. His face was stunning, ridiculously handsome. Perfectly carved features, sharp angles. He really was a proper male lead. He shot a disgusted look at the man who tried to help me, then turned back to look at me, a bit confused. Then he sighed and finally spoke, "What's up with you today? If you want to throw a tantrum, let's go home and you can throw it at me. Don't make a scene here. You're not in good health right now." I slowly processed what he just said. Then I looked back over at Leova. I raised an eyebrow when I saw. She had already gotten up by herself. I looked up, stared at her seriously, and calmly asked, "Did that fall hurt?" Right after I finished saying, "Did that fall hurt?" the atmosphere in the banquet hall felt like all the oxygen got sucked out. A few people gasped like I had just dropped some savage one-liner, but the truth was, I was really just asking from the heart. Leova stood there, dressed slightly crooked, hair lightly messy, her round eyes staring at me like she'd just seen a ghost. She stammered, You're not gonna yell at me?" I scratched my head and finally walked over to her, but I didn't help her up. Instead, I slowly bent down and picked up the phone she snatched from me earlier. The video on my phone had already skipped ahead to the 8th piece of evidence proving that cows can fly. Damn it, I had only made it to the 3rd one just now. Why the hell did this video skip so fast? I slowly scrolled the video back to where I was watching earlier. Then, I remembered Leova had just asked me something. I looked at her and casually replied, "Huh? Why would I yell at you? You fell on your own and stood up on your own." Honestly, you're a very self-respecting person. Leova trembled. She didn't know what to do next, because, according to the original plot of these crazy-ass novels, I was supposed to slap those delicate white cheeks of hers, then start a loud shouting match, followed by the male lead storming off in a rage. But now, I just kept sitting there. William hadn't taken his eyes off me. The 4 male leads standing farther away were still staring. They started whispering to each other. She's not like before. Normally by now she'd have slapped Leova already. I think something's off. Maybe she's been possessed or something. I think she's hotter than before, though. At that moment, William's mom walked over from afar. She was known as a tough cookie type like those mother-in-laws from 1,000-episode soap operas. She stood in front of me, hands on her hips, all ready to unload a barrage of yelling, but I beat her to it. I yawned, a full yawn, long and complete, the kind of perfect yawn you'd get a solid 9.0 IELTS score for. The whole hall held its breath again. She squinted at me. I looked back and asked, "Have you eaten, ma'am?" "I have some cake." I held out the pack of cookies. William's mom was stunned into silence. She had written a whole rap diss just to go to battle with me, and yet today I made her waste all her energy preparing for nothing. The atmosphere felt like someone had dumped cold water on the whole room. Some guest muttered under their breath, "Everyone today is acting perfectly in character except her. She's acting like she's brain dead or something." At that moment, William stepped forward, standing between me and his mom. I thought he was going to protect his mom. But in the next second, he looked at me, and then held out his hand. "Can I have a bite of your cookie?" I blinked, broke the cookie in half. He took a bite of one half. I bit into the other. The whole banquet hall looked like it was about to lose power. Leova was stunned. She clenched her fists, her lips trembling. No, this isn't right. This isn't how it's supposed to go." I tilted my head at her. "What's wrong? If the script's wrong, go contact the director to fix it. I'm just eating a cookie." She went berserk. raised her hand intending to slap me, a last-minute move. But I dodged just in time, not because of any skill, but because I yawned again. I tilted my head. Because I was sleepy, she missed the slap. Lost her balance, fell down again. This time, she hit her head on the banquet table, wine spilled everywhere. Her sweet white dress got completely covered in ketchup. The drama officially shifted scenes from a crazy romance novel to a one-woman stand-up comedy. No one said a word. People started quietly leaving. William looked at me, lips moving like he wanted to say something, but then didn't. The banquet ended. No drama, no slaps, only one supporting female character who just learned 10 reasons why cows might be able to fly. Since that day, I became a legend. People said I was depressed. People said I had awakened. People said I was practicing some kind of inner cultivation. Countless rumors and gossip surrounded me, but only I knew I was just lazy. After that, I got bored, so I asked my assistant to set up a live stream where I told stories titled "Do Something, You Die." Do nothing, you die. Do something and you die faster. So might as well just choose laziness and be at peace. My live stream wasn't fancy, but had the charm of being mentally challenged. Views shot up like a kite catching the wind. The 4 male supporting characters, once mortal enemies of mine, now each message me one by one. Do you want to have some tea? I have a photo I'd like you to see. Are you having trouble sleeping? I can help. Have you been scammed? I can sue them for you. I gave them all the same reply, already asleep, inbox after 11 a.m. And what about William? He came to find me directly. He knocked on the door of the villa, carrying flowers, pastries, and a slightly confused look. He awkwardly said, "I don't understand you anymore." I bit into a pastry and replied as I chewed, "I don't get you either. How can anyone live loving like that?" He laughed. For the first time, I saw him not frowning. I asked, "Do you still love Leova?" He answered, "I think I love peace." I fell silent. In my heart, a question rose: peace or laziness? In the end, after many nights of William trying to seduce me, and after suffering from sore hips and a sore back, I married William. No wedding dress, just a marriage certificate, a glass of walnut milk, and a new fluffy blanket. And from then on, I lived happily ever after. I lay in the strong arms of William and I sank into my afternoon nap. Because it turns out transmigrating, sugar daddying, emotional and physical abuse and all that can't defeat a sloth like me. And that wraps up today's storytime video. VILLAINESS thanks you all so much for supporting this content. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more storytelling videos from VILLAINESS. See you next time.